There's a thing at your job that everybody complains about. You know exactly the one, the process that takes 4 days and should take 4 hours. It's the system only 2 people understand, the handoff where things reliably get lost, or the report nobody trusts. Everyone knows about it, everyone mentions it, nobody touches it. Every morning, intelligent people walk past that thing on their way to their desks, the way you'd walk past a pile of money if it had been sitting there so long it became furniture. That annoying, unglamorous problem nobody else will deal with is not an obstacle in your career. It's the treasure, and the reason nobody has taken it is exactly the reason it's still worth something. The psychologist Jordan Peterson has a chapter title that says it in 8 words. Notice that opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated. Value does not sit where everyone is already looking. It sits wherever a burden has been dropped and left on the floor. The moment somebody voluntarily picks that burden up, they become the person that thing depends on. Rewards, financial and otherwise, flow toward whoever is carrying the heaviest thing that other people genuinely need carried. Think about who actually got promoted around you. It usually was not the most talented person. It was the one who took the ugly project, the difficult client, or the mess left behind when someone quit. You watched it happen and filed it under luck. They did not get lucky. They picked something up. Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist and former professor at Harvard and the University of Toronto. He is also one of the most polarizing public figures alive, but for this discussion, that does not matter. We are taking one specific idea from his work, where value comes from. That idea comes out of his first book, Maps of Meaning, which he worked on for something like 15 years before it found almost no audience. He spent decades lecturing in ordinary university rooms before any of it broke through. Whatever else is true about him, he carried an unrewarded burden for a very long time before anything came back. His framework is drawn from mythology, and it is older than he is. In story after story, across unrelated cultures, the shape is identical. There is a monster, and the monster is guarding gold. The treasure and the terror occupy the same address. Anything easy and valuable is already gone. If a problem could be solved pleasantly in an afternoon, someone who wanted the credit solved it years ago. What remains is unpleasant, ambiguous, politically awkward, boring, or frightening. The difficulty is not a flaw in the opportunity. The difficulty is the moat. That is why the dragon sits on the gold, not as a punishment, but as a filter. Peterson argues that you should not go hunting for some grand abstract mission. You should start with what actually bothers you. The thing that irritates you, offends you, or makes you angry at work is data. It points towards something broken that you are specifically wired to notice. Most people discharge that feeling by complaining, which is the emotional equivalent of spending it. Treat the irritation instead as an assignment addressed to you. This bothers me, therefore it is mine to fix. But rewards do not go to whoever carries the heaviest burden as a blanket rule. Plenty of people carry crushing loads their whole lives and receive nothing for it. Care workers, single parents, and people holding families together in impossible conditions show that suffering by itself pays nothing. The claim has to be sharpened. First, the burden has to be voluntary, chosen, not imposed. Second, it has to be a burden other people need lifted. Nobody pays you for carrying rocks in a field. Miss either condition, and you are not confronting a dragon. You are just suffering with extra steps. Get both. And the line worth carving into your desk is this: opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated. For 1 week, write down every single thing at work that makes you sigh, wince, or complain. Do not filter or judge it, just log it. At the end of the week, you will have a written map of the abdicated responsibilities in your immediate environment. Pick the item that bothers you most and would help the most people if it went away. That intersection is your dragon. Take it without permission and take it small. Do not announce a transformation initiative. Quietly become the person who handles that one thing. Document the process nobody documented. Own the ugly handoff. Answer the complaint everyone dodges. Do it for a month before you say a word about it. Authority over a problem is almost never granted in advance. It is recognized afterward. Aim at the burden you can survive. Before you pick something up, ask 2 questions. Would I choose this if nobody were watching? And does lifting it make life measurably better for people other than me? 2 yeses means pick it up. Any no means walk on. That is not a dragon. It is just a rock. Choosing well is the skill. Suffering is not. You already know what your dragon is. You knew inside the first 30 seconds of this video. You have a reason for not touching it. It may be political, outside your department, or connected to an uncomfortable conversation. You may have to admit that you do not know how, or remember that the last person who tried got burned. All of that may be true. It is not necessarily cowardice. It may be an accurate read of why the problem is hard. But avoidance is not free. You are not declining to pay a cost. You are choosing a different one. Every week the thing stays broken. You pay a little irritation and a little contempt for a place where obvious problems never get fixed. You also pay with the sense that you are someone who notices things and does nothing about them. That is the real bill, the slow, invisible cost of walking past the same thing for years. The payoff for finally picking it up is not only money, though the money is real. You also find out what you are actually capable of, which is information you cannot get any other way. Nobody has ever discovered what they can carry by carrying nothing. If you are waiting for an opportunity to appear, hear this clearly, it already has. It is disguised as the thing you are annoyed about. Every unfixed problem around you is a responsibility somebody set down and walked away from. That pile is not evidence that your workplace is broken, your industry is stuck, or you were born too late. It is a map. The money was never hiding somewhere far away in a market you do not have access to yet. It is sitting under the thing you have been stepping over all year. If this reframed how you see the problems around you, subscribe. There is a lot more of this kind of edge coming.